BJ for Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Brian Suhre, and we are talking about a game out on Kickstarter right now, doing very well, already funded, and that is Winterborne. I don't know a lot about this game, Brian. Give us the elevator pitch. What's Winterborne all about?
Well, Winterborne is about you have kind of this Viking clan, and you are using your clan to expand your kingdom. Um, it has a little deck building in it. It has a little kingdom expansion where you have a player board and you're kind of expanding out your kingdom and building your options. And what you're doing is you're going through the seasons. You have like spring and summer, autumn and winter. And what you're doing is you're planning for winter. So you're preparing for the winter. Once it hits winter, you kind of unlock this special Winterborne power that you have. But you're only able to use it as much as well or many times as well as you had planned for that winter. So you're during the game. There you go. So everyone has their own player board, their own little kingdom board there. So I like to make games where you always have a puzzle in front of you. So you're familiar with Cold Water,
Right.
and you have that little puzzle in front of you. So here, your own player board kind of mirrors the main board. So as you're taking actions on your little board, you're being able to interact with the main board out in the middle. So it is a little bit of a deck builder. And you're moving around these three heroes that you have. So you have a shaman, you have a Viking, and you have an explorer. And all three of them interact with each other in this weird kind of Venn diagram of actions. The explorer is the one that you will move around the board and grab the big cards that you see out there in the main board, and that's how you're
Okay.
going to deck build. Uh, your your Viking is the one that's going to expand your player board. You move on those big gray spaces, and you're only ever adjacent to one of the six provinces whenever you move a character. But your warrior is able to expand your player board so you have more options. You're adjacent to more things, and so you're kind of trying to expand your board and build kind of deck build at the same time. Your shaman is kind of in between those, and they're able to help you gain extra in-game scoring and gather resources. The way that you do this is on your turn, you're going to basically have four cards in your hand, and you're going to combine two cards. One is going to tell you which character you would like to move, and one is going to have a movement number on it. So if I'm going to move my shaman two spaces, I'll play those two cards together, and then I'll move my shaman two spaces and then take an action. So normally in a rondel game, for example, even Freshwater Fly, when you move, the space or sector tells you what you do.
Right.
In this, each character has two actions that they can do. But so in this, the rondel, you're going to move that character, and whatever you're adjacent to, whatever province you're adjacent to, you can use one of your two actions to take an action. So the characters have the actions, but your player board is where you're going to be able to take those actions. And
And
so I've created
the rondel you're referring to, that's the six in the middle.
that's the main board. The
Okay.
little boards that are there off to the side, the ones that look like the mirror, that have the big six gray spaces
Sure.
and like little flags. So your pieces move on those gray spaces in a clockwise order. And
Oh,
each
okay.
one of those gray spaces is adjacent to one of the provinces. Those little red flags are where you're going to expand and gain provinces adjacent to the gray spaces. So, you'll be moving three like wooden meeples around that kingdom board there, and then you interact with the main board. So,
I'm trying to think of anything that this is like. What's your inspiration? Was there, or was this something kind of that came out of the blue?
well, this one it wasn't inspired by a specific game, but it was definitely designed because at the time there was, I think, an expansion for. Oh, you're gonna get me blanked out here. There
Oop.
was an expansion for I just blanked out. But anyway, Terraforming Mars was very
I,
much being played,
I was thinking that you were thinking of that game.
and Terra Mystica, I think there was the expansion that was out
Right.
at the time. So there was a lot of Terra Mystica being played and a lot of Terraforming Mars. So I'm looking around going, people love sitting around for 4 hours staring at a handful of cards. I'm
Right.
referring to Terraforming Mars, but
Sure.
And I was like, it's the hand management. It's the hand management. It's the comboiness, and then
It's
just kind of
true.
the expansion of the Terra Mystica. And I was like, I'm gonna try to just combine what these two things together. Now they're nothing like, but I just those are the feels that I had wanted with it. This game really has a great feeling of combos and like really just satisfying turns.
Is there
Because
a
you're
little engine building like in Terraforming Mars?
This one, yeah. So the engine building of this one comes from the fact that you start out only adjacent ever when you move to one province. So the engine building is your warrior is going to expand your board, so you're adjacent to more things.
Right.
Your warrior is going to be building cities, and your warriors is going to be building churches. And so as you build these on your board, your other characters are going to be able to interact with those cities and buildings, and then that's just going to help you further. So there's this engine building in front of you. There's an engine building of the cards that basically you put into your deck. So this is kind of a light deck builder. You may buy anywhere from 5 to 10 cards, or add 5 to 10 cards into your deck. So it all depends on if you're going to go heavy exploring or if you're going to go a heavy builder route. So there's a lot of kind of paths you can take. So you're not collecting a lot of cards into your deck.
I'm looking at the player boards and I've got them as a solo shot here. It says the Winterborne clans. Are these going to be asymmetrical, or do you all start out the same?
So the player boards are the same. You're dealt a Winterborne power at the
Okay.
beginning, and so those are all asymmetrical, and they're all just like game-breaking, powerful cards that you're anticipating to use, but you can't use them until winter. And so each Winterborne card has two powers on it that you can use. There's usually a really powerful one, and then more of a utility. And so there's actually 3 rounds of winter. So in the first round of winter, it costs you 1 favor in order to use a Winterborne power. In the second winter, it costs you 2, and in the third, it costs you 3. But so the entire time that you're, the rest of the other seasons, you're trying to gain these favor tokens. You're taking actions. You're doing things in order to prepare to be able to use this power. So it has a great sense of kind of progression and tension as you want to be ready when it switches into winter.
Where'd the concept for a name like Winterborne? Was that something that just kind of popped in your head, or where did you get that name?
It came from the publisher at the time had asked me, can I add a little bit more of an arc of the story to the game?
Okay.
And so I, a lot of my games that I design them in like really tight loops that you take, right? Place a token, pick up a token, you catch some fish. There's no long-term story in Cold Water, right?
Right.
I mean, there's a story of the fish you caught. There's a story of like, the achievements that you had hit. But you didn't build a pyramid during the game, but you could
Right.
say like, I built this in a sense. So he asked for a little bit more of a story arc, and then that's where I kind of came up with the idea of preparing for winter and creating the Winterborne powers and giving it a little sense of progression. And then just from there, the fact that winter was such a important part of it, Winterborne came out of
Was
it.
did the publisher originally want to, or did you have a different name for it before that happened?
Just a makeshift name that was
All
on
right.
top of it. I usually didn't care about where he had talked about retheming, if possible, into some kind of Roman stuff or something in there, and that didn't bother me. Um, so for me, I think like a lot of that stuff is theme and stuff. I'm always open for a publisher to run with. I think except for Freshwater Fly, I was really, really, really,
Yeah,
really, really wanted that one to stay. Uh, but I think we stayed with Vikings with this one. It just made sense.
and that was the original theme that you had come up with.
Yes, it was.
Steve says this is kind of an add-on, Dell. Nice one, Steve. Nice one. All right, so tell us a little bit more about Winterborne. Is it 2 to 4 players?
This one is now 1 to 4 players. So I worked
One.
on a solo that we just announced.
Who is that in the update? Solo mode.
That was in
Hello,
an update.
strikers. Solo mode is here.
That was something that at first I didn't want to solo for this because I thought, is it just going to be beat your score, another, play the robot? And in a lot of my solo games, I really want a different experience. I want you to do the same actions that you take in a normal game, but I also kind of want a special experience. I want to kind of reward the solo player for. So I want someone who's not a solo player to go, oh, well, you can do that. I want to try that. So I feel like I'm kind of trying to get non-solo players to play by it being just slightly different and a little bit more exciting than just beat your score. And so I told him, give me some time. I'm going to need some time because I wasn't happy with what I was doing. And then I came up with this here for the solo, and I'm really super excited about this one.
A lot of people, look, they're coming out. There's Miklos, there's Steve saying solo, solo. Jeremy, as you know, from Jambalaya Plays Games, he loves playing those solo games. So.
Yeah, I didn't have it ready for him. He did an amazing overview of the game, and I felt so bad that I didn't have it ready just yet for him. If you like solo, keep an eye on Freshwater. It is something special and something that really means a lot to me when I made that. Because when Coldwater came out, we got a lot of love we got some love for the solo game, and I really just wanted to kind of just reward solo players with that one. So I know Dennis is very hush hush, so I have to be hush hush. But look for that one to have a really amazing solo experience.
Yeah, so it's closing in on 800 backers, almost $30,000 pledged. But what really intrigued me is that according to the campaign page, it says it was the 2018 Stonemaier Design Day Top 4. Did you go down? I mean, I know it's not that far from your hometown. Did you go to the Design Day itself?
I did. It's local, and to me, I mean, it's 20 minutes away. But it was my first one. It's really not a super competition by any means. There's probably 30-ish games there. It's no real competition. Like it doesn't go through a ring of judges, but you play your game through a bunch of playtesters, and every playtester just rates the game. So anybody that played my game may not have played the other 20, 25 games over there. So it's really not something to like it's not designed to be a competition. It's just really designed to just get players in there playing the game and getting some great feedback. And if you see how the board looks right there, as it has all the hex and the shape of the main board, that was something that I was polling at that time. I had a square board and I was polling. Would you like to see this kind of look like the main center of your kingdom board? And it was a resounding yes. So
I'm curious about the Design Day. Did you only teach and demo Winterborne, or were you able to try out some of the other designs while you were there?
No. Jamie's really good at setting it up so that that's not what you're doing. I think he wants everybody to get around and move. So
good.
We were able to demo. You're able to demo your game like 2 or 3 times, and then from there, the rest of the time, you've already signed up to play other people's games. And he also just has, non-designed or prototypes games playing. He has already just published games that are there that you can play as well.
Well, who teaches your game after that? Or that's it? The 2 or 3 times that you've played, that's what the score is based on?
That's it, yep. So it's really just moving around and playing other people's stuff. And it's getting a lot.
Cool?
Huh?
What did you play that was cool? Anything? Did you play Wingspan while you were there?
No, that wasn't. I don't think that was out and about at that time to where that I think I knew about it.
There's Jambalaya checking in. I really like Winterborne. So many ways to score and possible ways to win. The powers really make the game ramp up. Yes, you were telling me. Was there anything that kind of knocked your socks off?
I played a couple games. They're all good. I mean, there's a lot of great designers in the area. I can't recall any of the names or anything that are going to help with it, but there's a lot of designers kind of in this area, so there's a lot of great designs out there.
Well, that's Winterborne. You got 10 more days to go. It plays 1 to 4. I'm trying to remember how long the game takes.
We claim about 20 minutes per player, and that's when you know it. It'll probably be 25 minutes per player on your first game. So it is a little crunchy in your first plays, but but the rules are very simple. So you always know the rules. You won't have a rules overhead, but what you're doing, it's a lot of planning, right? So do I want to move my shaman 2? Do I want to move my shaman 1? If I move my shaman 1, that means I move my warrior 2. So you're planning out your board, but you know what you want to do, and the rules are pretty quick.
Anything cool in the Kickstarter? Anything exclusive?
With the we are really trying to get the components. We're really excited about the components. We have
Okay.
lots of gameplay stretch goals. So in Winterborne, what makes it different is every card in the game is unique. So you have a core set of cards, and then you add what we call banner cards. So if you ever played a deck builder or just like
Sure.
Dominion, and you go in the box and you grab a stack of cards, and then you grab 10 different types of cards. So here you grab a couple different banner cards and you add those to the main core deck, and then that's what makes it different every time. So we have lots of new banner cards. We have these special cards that we call wilds. Those are also, and then some Winterborne powers. But we're really looking to get the game and components to the quality that we want it to be. I think we came in at a really low price point at $39, and we're just really hoping to get that box packed with upgraded components.
That's a great price for a 90-minute or 60 to 90-minute Euro style game with so many different cool little elements like rondelles. So good luck on the campaign. And that's Winterborne. It's out for another 10 days, published by Talon Strikes Games. And Brian, good luck with that project, man.
Thank you.